Welcome, friends, to an inside the office studio of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys and girls, I'm a retired New York City police detective, and you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed Wallace when he's available, when we go live or upload another video. And today we're going to talk about it was not a press conference, it was a pre-recorded release on the Moscow Police Department's Public Information Officer's YouTube channel. So it's just a 6-minute release. And for those of you who have seen it, you know, there's really not a whole lot to talk about per se from what the captain spoke about. But there is some messages that I get as a law enforcement professional watching it. So if you're not yet subscribed, consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon and Ed when we go live. But I want to say a special thank you to you, the live viewers, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, the moderators, the replay viewers. You guys are what makes this a great place. And I can't say it enough. So I give thanks and praise from my house to yours. And I say thank you to each and every one of you who watch these live streams that we do. So again, before we get into it, by a show of hands, how many of you folks have seen this 6-minute video that I'm about to play for you guys? Just by a show of hands. If you've seen it, press a 1. If you haven't seen it, just press a 2. So this way I know that maybe you haven't seen it. I just want to get an idea of how many of you folks have already seen this video. So I see a couple of number 1s quickly right out of the gate, a couple of number 2s, and there are quite a bit of number 2s, which is I'm pretty surprised about that. So the Moscow Police Department Captain Roger Lanier, he gave a 6-minute press conference. Well, not a press conference live, but a 6-minute released pre-recorded video. So we'll listen to it. I'll play it. You guys just got to let me know if the audio on this thing sounds good. I'll play it real quick for you guys, and then we'll come back and I will give you basically my take on what we just listened to. And we're also going to listen to the police chief talk about rumors and how it affects a case. And then this is going to tie into a lot of the cases that we've spoken about. And I want to talk to you about a couple of other various different things. But let me just do this real quick and start this right up for you. All right, you just guys let me know if you could hear it good.
Roger Lanier, I'm a captain with the Moscow Police Department. I'm in charge. Good morning. My name is Roger Lanier. I'm a captain with the Moscow Police Department. I'm in charge.
Let me know if you guys could hear the audio good.
Today is December 12th, Monday, and I want to give you an update on the King Road homicide investigations, at least the information that we have to this point. Over the weekend, investigators still continued to sort through numerous tips, calls, and online tips in regard to this investigation. There's been a lot of questions about the white car that we've been interested in. We're looking for that car because we believe through our investigation that that car was in the area during the time of the murders. And we also believe that the occupant or occupants may have seen something. They may not know they have seen something. So we specifically want to talk to them, and we want to know who they are and what they might know or might be able to contribute to the investigation. Over the weekend, investigators have sorted through and prioritized numerous tips. Some are tips that came in earlier and we've been working on. Other tips are new and are relevant. It's overwhelming sometimes with the amount of information that comes in on these tip lines. So our analysts have spent hours sorting through and trying to come up with the most relevant tips first for the investigators to follow up on. They have re-interviewed some of the folks we've interviewed earlier in this investigation to clarify information. Sometimes when new information comes forward, the people that we've spoken to beforehand may have new insight on that. So it does often seem like we're backtracking, but we're really just trying to get the most important details and the best timeline that we can come up with. We have literally an army of analysts who have been sorting through videos that have been submitted through the FBI.gov Moscow upload site. Those videos are from all over town, gas stations, and specifically the area around King Road. We've been trying to use those videos to garner new information. As you can imagine, there's hours and hours and hours of videos, so it does take a lot of time. I want to talk a minute about safety. There's been a lot of speculation about what is the safety to the public right now, or the risk to the public right now. I would just like to add that we should always be vigilant. Certainly we should be vigilant now, but we should make that a way of life for us. We should always be walking with our head up, sticking to lighted paths, and walking in groups if we can. And in addition, letting people know when you've arrived home if you have not made prior arrangements. This is not an indication of a specific elevated risk, but something that we should be vigilant with just in our daily lives. I want to let everybody know that we are still 100% committed to solving this crime. There's a lot of information to sort through, and the information keeps coming in. And not all of the information is relevant, but you don't know if a tip is valid until you take the time to examine that tip and see how it relates to other information that you might have. We have teams in Moscow, Salt Lake City, and in Virginia, as well as other locations across the country. And we're prepared to do interviews and follow up on information at any point, anywhere. The ISP and FBI investigators, along with the Moscow Police Department investigators, includes dozens of analysts, tip line operators, and others, and they're working around the clock 7 days a week to sort through the volumes of information. MPD has detectives, support personnel, and a communications team to try to keep everything together, but it is still a daunting task. The FBI, their investigators are ready at a moment's notice at any place in the country to go conduct an interview should the tips and leads take us there. And the Idaho State Police has, besides working on the investigation, had several uniformed troopers in the area to help with safety concerns around the city and on the University of Idaho campus. And just a quick reminder, please stick to official news releases for information. Tracking down rumors and quelling rumors about specific individuals or specific events that may or may not have happened is a huge distraction for investigators, and oftentimes is the result of social media propagation. And it is very, very frustrating to investigators and hard to stay on track.
Okay, so I wanted to stop it there just for a second because this is important. He speaks about not listening to online rumors and online speculation. And he made it a point to point that out here in this press conference. And there's quite a few other things that he spoke about here that I think were significant, that maybe somebody who's just watching would say, oh, this is bullcrap. This is really not a lot of information. And I tend to think that there is a lot of information behind this information or lack of information that he put out. And we'll get into that in a minute.
Rumors and quelling rumors about specific around the city and on the University of Idaho campus. And just a quick reminder, please stick to official news releases for information. Tracking down rumors and quelling rumors about specific individuals or specific events that may or may not have happened is a huge distraction for investigators, and oftentimes is the result of social media propagation. And it is very, very frustrating to investigators and hard to stay on track. Finally, I just want to add that we do have a lot of information, and we are specifically keeping that information safe. We're not releasing specific details because we do not want to compromise this investigation. It's what we must do. We owe that to the families, and we owe that to the victims. We want more than just an arrest. We want a conviction. We owe that justice to Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan. And finally, I would just like to remind
I want to just say this by a show of hands here in the chat. How many times have you heard myself, Ed Wallace, police off the cuff, Sergeant Bill Cannon, and all the good ones who cover these cases with justice in mind? How many of you guys heard me personally say it's not about just the summary arrest of bringing a perpetrator in, it's about getting a conviction? And he said that right here. I like that he said that because that's very important. That is what your really end goal is. It's not quickly and hastily bringing somebody in because you think that they're acting suspicious. It's bringing somebody in when the time is right, when you have all of your ducks in order and all of the evidence correctly put together to present to a jury of your peers. So let's just play that again.
Families, and we owe that to the victim. And we are specifically keeping that information safe as a result of social media propagation. And it is very, very frustrating to investigators and hard to stay on track. Finally, I just want to add that we do have a lot of information, and we are specifically keeping that information safe. We're not releasing specific details because we do not want to compromise this investigation. It's what we must do. We owe that to the families, and we owe that to the victims. We want more than just an arrest. We want a conviction. We owe that justice to Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan. And finally, I would just like to remind anybody with information, you can call the tip line at 208-883-7180. And that is directly to the tip line office in the FBI. There's been some frustration about having to wade through the tip line, but remember, this is not the only investigation in the country. So please be patient. We want that information. Anything could break this open for us. And then also the email tip line is tipline@ci.moscow.id.us. Thank you for your continued patience.
All right, I just wanted to say too that I have that listed. I have that listed on the, hold on a second. Okay, I have the tip line listed in the description of every one of our videos that we've done. So if you look in the description box here on this channel, you will see that there is the tip line listed down below. I wanted to just bring up a couple of sticking points that I've seen, and thank you to everybody that's in the chat. He talked about something in this 6-minute video about re-interviewing and interviewing people that they've already interviewed. So re-interviewing potential witnesses and or suspects, right? I don't like to call them persons of interest, but he talked here in this video specifically about interviewing and re-interviewing people. That is something that I have spoken about very intensely when we talk about the different various people along the way here. And you know, again, it's not a reason to go in and attack anybody, but the bottom line is here you have the captain saying that we are calling back people in if needed, and if investigation leads back to the people. So that's a direct response to the general public and to the people thinking, wow, they just clear everybody really quick and then they're free to go and free to do whatever. That's not how investigations work. That's not investigation 101. He did speak about safety, right? He talked about safety on campus and off campus. I am going to do a show with Jennifer Koffendorfer. We're going to talk about personal protection, in particular for females, but it's going to be also male-female related. While you're at any college campus or anywhere in your general life, daily life, we're going to do a dedicated show on personal safety. And I've also reached out to 2 professionals who do this for a living, and they're going to come on and they're going to talk to us about how to keep yourself safe while you're shopping, while you're doing your daily stuff. But this is something that's right in the forefront right now. It's very, very up close and personal. And I think it's important. Let's listen to, I'm gonna get the police chief on. This was an interview that he did on the 10th. This was his latest interview. And then I got a whole bunch of notes that I want to talk to you guys about, and then I got to run. So let me cue this up and make sure that this is right. Let's see if DutyRon can do this. Hold on. I got it, I think. All right. Show me some applause if you can hear this. The audio is good when I start playing it. And also give me some thumbs up and say, hey, congratulations, DutyRon. You conquered technology.
Tell us about the weekend. So many people in town. What's happening as far as public safety during this time?
This is a very important weekend for the university. It's our commencement weekend, and we're going to have a lot of officers around. We're going to have a lot of Idaho.
This is from December 10th, so this is old. Not old, but this is a day old or 2 days.
Police around. You'll see us both at the commencement as well as just around town providing safety.
Where are we at in the investigation right now?
We're working steady on the investigation still. We're still receiving tips. We're still receiving items in from, down at the lab. Things are continuing. We're still pushing forward, and we're at the normal process of investigation. We're still doing a lot of interviews, and I'm talking to a lot of people.
What about the number of people involved at this point?
We still have the same amount of staff. Idaho State Patrol, our local Moscow Police Department, detectives, and FBI, not only here locally, but still across our nation, across our state.
Okay, so
welcome back to the big Sunday.
Whoops, we don't want that. So yeah, listen, guys. The bottom line here is that they're talking about public safety. Public safety is really at the forefront for everybody, not just within the university or on campus. Public safety is at the forefront for everybody, not just in the state of Idaho. Public safety is a big concern for everybody, especially around this time of year when you're out Christmas shopping and there's a lot of hustle bustle and there's a lot of things going on. So I think it's important that everybody is hyper vigilant and takes a lot of care in watching and looking at your surroundings. I want to play this one because this one is the police chief. This is the police chief addressing Chief Fry. He's addressing online bullying and harassment. And this one is important to me. I speak loud and clear about this. It's not ever a good look. I don't encourage anybody to ever join the pile and get on the bandwagon and follow people who are conducting themselves in less than a civil manner. And he talks about it here. So let's play this. Let me add that to the stream. There he is. Here we go. Let me put it full. All right, so this is the police chief. He's talking about online jagaloonism.
We'll start with the white car. How many tips are coming in and how are police using them?
We've had an amazing amount of tips come in on the white car. We appreciate everybody's help that has been sending in those tips, and investigators are vetting those and they're following up on those, and the response has been very great. We appreciate all the help from across the nation and our community.
In some cases, we're hearing that people are borderline being harassed by speculation and rumors out there. What are police doing?
There you go, folks.
Well, what we want people to know is that individuals who are being harassed in this situation, people need to be careful because some of it's happening online, some of it's happening through phone calls and in person, and people could be charged possibly in the future if it continues to a point where it reaches a criminal element.
What can people do to help that situation?
I think number one, just call us anytime that there's any of that happening so that we can deal with that immediately.
And what about the information? What is being done to make sure the information that is out there is not causing speculation and rumors?
There's been a lot of speculation and rumors, and what we want to say is we're the official source of information. We want people to pay attention to what we're putting out there because that is accurate information, and anything that comes from other sources is either rumor or speculation, and we want to
All right, so I'm going to put that back so you guys can hear it for those of you in the back room. Again, this is something that I say over and over and over again every time there is a case that we cover. I always say that we rely on what the police put out and not what fake book puts out and not what somebody has a vision or a dream about or somebody has a feeling or a gut feeling. That's not up to us to make those decisions on. It's the detectives and the police departments who we listen to and go with on information here.
Deal with that immediately.
Do to help that situation?
Sure, if it continues to a point where it reaches a criminal element.
What can people do to help that situation?
I think number one, just call us anytime that there's any of that happening so that we can deal with that immediately.
And what about the information? What is being done to make sure the information that is out there is not causing speculation and rumors?
You know, there's been a lot of speculation and rumors, and what we want to say is we are the official source of information. We want people to pay attention to what we're putting out there because that is accurate information. And anything that comes from other sources is either rumor or speculation, and we want to put an end to that as soon as possible.
Okay, that was great. So let's exit that. Let's get myself full screen. All right, this is about as much technology as I can handle. So you heard it here. The Moscow Police Department says they are the only place for legitimate information. So go over to their Twitter account, go over to their Facebook account. They do updates on a regular basis through their Moscow Police Department's official branded website. And there's a section on it that dispels all the rumors. So look there. I just wanted to go over a couple of notes that I took. Okay. Moscow Police Department is working with state, that's the Idaho State Police, the crime lab, and the state investigators. They have the FBI, which includes FBI profilers. And he talked about Salt Lake City and he talked about Virginia. And what do we know? What is in Virginia, right? We know that Quantico and the FBI's headquarters is in Virginia. So, you know, they're working behind the scenes, and there's a reason why they've gone to this pre-recorded, uploaded video for putting out information. You know, somebody said in the chat, is it maybe that they don't want to tell the press about things and so forth? If the press asks them questions and they know that they can't answer them, they're going to just tell the press that they can't answer it. So it's not them hiding from the press. I think this was the most controlled way for them to put it out, to get to what they want to say. They said they have an army of analysts looking in video, in hundreds of hours of videos from gas stations, businesses, cameras that are on homes that are available along the routes and in the area. And they're saying for people to continue to send that information into the tip line. They talked about interviewing and re-interviewing other people. They also talked about, that they're working night and day on this. This is not a cold case. It's nowhere close to being a cold case. They have so many leads and so much information. It takes hours and hours, days and days. You know, here we are over 4 weeks. So over 4 weeks, and we're into, we're getting into the Christmas time here, and they're going to be continually working night and day on this thing going forward. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about Wi-Fi because I have a specialist that I'm working with who knows about geofencing, who knows about Wi-Fi, who knows about computer forensics. He is going to come on with us shortly in the next couple of days, and we're going to talk about the possibility of smart watches. Like I'm wearing one right now, this smartwatch, right? Sometimes it's not that smart, but it turns on when it wants to. It connects to Wi-Fi. It's got GPS built into it. You know, kids love the Apple smartwatches. If any of these victims or even the perpetrator was wearing one of these devices or had a phone that would connect automatically to any open Wi-Fi, and we hope that this home had a Wi-Fi for guests, because we know that this was kind of like a party house and there was lots of parties that come in, people come in to party and so forth. So instead of having to give out a password, they could have an open access on their Wi-Fi, which would enable someone to just connect, or if their phone is set up to it, if you have your phone set up to automatically connect to open Wi-Fi devices, then this perpetrator's phone, if everything was set up right, could possibly connect to that phone upon walking into that house. Now, I know from my brother-in-law, I went to drop my wife off on Saturday for a baby shower up at my brother-in-law's house upstate. My phone is set to automatically connect to his Wi-Fi with the password and so forth, because he gave it to me in the past. So as soon as I went into his home, I noticed that I connected straight up into his Wi-Fi. So we hope that there's some kind of situation where either the perps or the victims had a smartwatch, or the perp had a phone that connected to the Wi-Fi there. That would help tremendously. We're also talking, a lot of people were mentioning, well, why is there not a mention of a reward in this case? Now, there could be many different factors that go into why there's no reward put up. Maybe they do know, or they have an idea or a direction of who they think was involved, whether it was one person, two persons, multiple people, a female, a male. Maybe they know this information, but they can't obviously speak about it. And that could be one reason why they wouldn't put up a reward. And there could be a multitude of other different reasons. So don't think too hard into that. But I really do say this: we have to support the local PD. They're not giving up the investigation to the feds. The FBI does not take over investigations. The state police are there to help with the forensics and the crime lab, and the FBI is there to help with the forensics and the crime lab and all of their resources. So it's a very complicated investigation, and we got to give them the room and the space to not just only get the arrest, but to get the conviction. And that's what this channel and all of us are in it for. We're here to support the victims and their families and to see justice for these 4 young college students. And that's what it's really all about. Guys, I've given you 30 minutes. I got to run. I'm in an active environment here. I just ran to this small little satellite office. Again, I'm wearing my Apple AirPods. These Apple AirPods aren't the best of audio. I could have plugged in my little pick mic. It would have maybe sound better, but this is the quickest way I wanted to give you this little presentation. Again, we heard from the captain. And also I played the police chief. So Captain Roger Lanier and Police Chief Fry, we listened to some video from there. Again, as I like to always remind you guys, it's the holiday season. We need to send strength, prayers, and positive vibes to the families, to sending them, all of our support for this very, very difficult time that they're going through. And we need to support the community in Moscow. We need to support the police on the local, state, and federal levels. Give them all we got to give them support. Let's not bog them down with visions and dreams. Let's send them bona fide information. If you have it, send that into the tip line, and it's all linked down below. I want to say thank you to the replay viewers, the new channel members, anybody who sent super chat, or anybody that newly subscribes. Thank you. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And I hope to see each and every one of you soon on the next one. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. But especially these four victims, their families, and extended families. We send them love, strength, and prayers. Peace from DutyRon. Thank you for joining.